All right, let's just start right here, Albie. The inauguration, fantastic day, fantastic time. All you guys who were there, thank you so much for coming there. It was just a very special day for us. It was fantastic. I will also say that just special shout out to Phil and Julie as well, especially. And here's another thing, and John in Greenwood as well, and we've got to figure out all the John, I think, bought 600 pizzas, so it's gonna be mortgaged his house. So we got to organize around making that right. But for Julie and Phil, you know what's so interesting is that Phil's a great guy, right? Mm-hmm. And he did all sorts of work in getting all the organizational stuff, etc., to have the great party that we had, the inauguration party. But it's interesting, much like with you, she's the star of the show. She's the alpha. Mm-hmm. She's super competent. She was super on top of things. Total alpha, unflappable. Had on hand all sorts of peripherals and things just in case. It is like, talk about, that's got to be a great feeling. She's a lovely woman, Julie, and totally impressive. As a matter of fact, I think that on the chat, the first message we got from either of them actually was from her, actually, a few years ago. So Julie and Phil, thank you so much. But there you go. He feels spoiled like me. He's got a superior human being as a spouse, and she was great. And
my mom always says all men marry up.
Oh, totally. And that was just very, very good. I definitely will. I definitely want to make sure that nobody is destroyed financially for this, because people spent real money. No, Phil wasn't. Whatever.
And the foods that people brought were incredibly. I mean, just generous. So many cool things. Trish made awesome Rice Krispie treats that looked like American flags, and so many great desserts. Homemade cookies. Toast brought homemade cookies too. The meatball subs that I think Julie might have made. Of Julie and Phil, compliments everywhere. I mean, like, just so much amazing food that was there.
If you're in need of 20 sandwiches, come and see me, please. Yeah. Oh, my daughter
is obsessed with now.
Yes, and she was big into Steve's show too, because she said her favorite person, I think, was Steve's show, because he gave her the sweatshirt she was wearing, and then the Cheez-Its guy. Who was that?
I think Paul in the car brought the Cheez-Its.
Paul in the car. Okay. And then there was a third too, but I forgot which one that was.
And if I get anybody wrong, please forgive me, because it was a blur. So. And
Steve from Merrimack, you have a goodie box that you won last night, but I don't think Steve's wife is a Trump person, so maybe he wants to keep it out of the whatever. We can put it back in the Gen Pop if you don't want it, or else I'll just see you around and I'll get it to you. Tommy in New Hampshire, we have communicated. We will return your item. We'll get your item to you, the Trump picture, and. Yeah, just a great night. It was a great night. It kind of made me have to watch everything again though today, because yesterday was just so nuclear fun that I couldn't remember details of the thing.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't watch the inauguration because we were rushing all around, kind of.
But also it was just like such a good and positive feeling.
Yeah,
you know, and just like
it was a happy day.
It was such a happy day, and so once again, like.
But then it was really sinking in that night, because like you say, then I was watching later that evening, like rewatching stuff and seeing some of the stuff with him signing the executive orders and talking to the media while he did that and all different stuff. So that was really great, because as far as I'm concerned, like, day one exceeded my wildest expectations. So I don't know where you are, but I feel like they definitely are hitting the ground running this time. They have had enough of what happened to him last time, where he was stymied in every direction that he tried to go because he didn't understand the levers of Washington enough.
Yep.
They came in this time fully prepared to get everything done, including things, I mean, they learned from the Biden administration, for better or worse. And people have told the Democrats this, that if you escalate the powers of the federal government in stupid ways and try and bypass mechanisms of the Constitution in stupid ways, then the next person's going to try it too, and maybe in ways that you do not like.
Exactly.
Right? Like, so for example, all these executive orders, Biden set a record for executive orders on day one when he came in. Now Trump has set a new record for executive orders on day one, and the left is freaking out and tearing their hair out over the different executive orders he's done, many of which are now going to be litigated in the courts, whether or not they're legal. But, I mean, top to bottom, recognizing sex instead of gender everywhere by the federal government.
I love that. I absolutely love it. And I think that's all we were really looking for from Trump, right? Is just common sense. Just we're just going back to sea level. That's it. And but
some of this stuff is new. For example, one that has the left really freaked out is the birthright citizenship thing. That, anybody who's born in the country and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is considered a natural born citizen. So, but that raises the question, what does subject to the jurisdiction thereof mean? Obviously, it's never included the children of diplomats. The son of the German ambassador is not automatically a U.S. citizen.
Right.
Never has been. That's not considered subject to the jurisdiction thereof because they lived in the embassy, which is not really in America, technically speaking. So they've redefined that to not include illegal immigrants, which has never been the legal interpretation to date, but it's also never really been tested.
Right.
So we don't know. The 14th Amendment, yes, guarantees citizenship to everyone born in the United States, but that was intended for slaves, enslaved persons who clearly were subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, unlike illegal immigrants who maybe are not. I think that's a big and open question, and it's going to be settled in the courts, and it's unclear, who's going to... I don't think it's as obvious as all the people going out here and saying that, the 14th Amendment, so this is totally illegal. I don't think it's that obvious, but Trump didn't try and do that in his last term. But Biden, and to a lesser extent in the past, Obama opened up this door to say we're going to legislate by pen and phone.
Right, totally.
And Congress has ceded a lot of territory to the executive branch. And Biden learned that if you try some stuff, it becomes hard for the courts to push it back. Obama learned that with DACA, right? They learned that once you do something, if you just say it's done as the executive and start acting like it's done, even if a court disagrees with it later, it becomes very hard to undo. If you start handing back money for student loans...
Exactly.
You now put everyone in a very difficult position where you're now going to go claw back $80,000 from some boomer couple who used it to pay off their house?
Right.
How do you undo it?
No, and that's why it's so cynical. It's so dark and cynical and sinister. It's just awful.
Right. But Trump was also here the last 4 years. He saw Biden doing this stuff. He saw Obama do it before, but in a way, last Trump was almost naive Trump. That wasn't really playing hardball yet in 2016.
Right, they did some stuff with immigration, but of course they get sued every 11 seconds.
Right, but now this Trump administration does not care. So they're going all in on these things, and they're going to be sued, and they'll win some and they'll lose some, I assume. But their MO clearly so far is try first, ask permission later.
Yes.
And I think that is going to serve him well in terms of getting a lot of these things done. The other big one, obviously, was the pardoning of the J6ers. And I think that he did more than I expected on the J6ers. I thought he was going to kind of pick and choose, to be honest. Because some of those people do deserve to be in jail, to be perfectly frank. Like, I don't know exactly for how long, which people or whatever. But if you're running around hitting the cops with a baseball bat, you probably deserve something. I don't know.
But they got something.
Yeah, they did get something. So anyway... But my point is, he took what Rachel Maddow last night kept calling it the maximalist approach, right?
Yep.
He forgave everybody. Everybody got a pardon. Now, I think Joe Biden made darn sure at 11:50 a.m. before he left office that nobody could ever criticize Trump on abusing pardon power ever again.
Yeah. Since
Joe Biden pardoned his entire family for everything, plus like Fauci and all those people earlier in the morning. But, nobody can ever complain about Trump abusing the pardon power now.
True.
That's over now. Joe Biden made sure that he did the worst stuff you could do with the pardon power. So now nobody, it's like Bill Clinton with sexual impropriety. Like there's no more, you don't get to have that anymore.
It's funny too, because Biden did like kind of a RICO pardon where everybody involved in the Biden bribery
all of his
scheme
siblings and all their spouses
are all covered off. And now Fauci's covered off.
Fauci's covered off back to 2014.
Yeah, which is actually when all the Ukraine stuff started happening, and more Ukraine stuff and Ukraine labs, as a matter of fact, which is
so anyway. I mean, like, yeah. Once again, you can't complain about the using pardon power. But I do think it's interesting because now we are going to see in the media, they're going to show some of the videos of the worst of these people that were pardoned because some of them were violent, whatever. Yeah. Trump made no distinction. Everybody got a pardon. Sentences were commuted. Like, everybody's free. And I think that at this point, like, I kind of expected them to pick and choose a little bit more, but I think the logic here is really just an FU to all of these people. It's you made this whole thing stupid with January 6th. Well, I'm pardoning all of them. I don't care. Violent, non-violent, good, bad, ugly, in between. Find something new to do, all of you guys.
I think there's also part of it that is personal because the J6 committee was there to plant the seed for a federal prosecution of Trump. So he's looking at that. He's looking at the fact that there was no security for Pelosi. The J6 committee was obviously a big Hollywood production, which never got into how it all happened. Like, we didn't see, all it was is that Trump is bad and sent people there. And Trump tried to grab the wheel from the Secret Service and try. All it was is an indictment against Trump. It was not a committee looking to see, like, how is it a guy with antlers is walking through the Capitol? The only video evidence we saw is that he was let in, as a matter of fact.
Right.
But still.
Right, but I think it's an early signal to them that, like, you showing us these videos of bad stuff happening January 6th isn't going to bully anybody anymore. Nobody's going to be scared out of pardoning somebody because you guys freak out on television. Nobody is going to be scared of signing this executive order, rather, because the news is going to show us video footage of this lady crying at the border because the illegal immigration app that we had set up through the Border Patrol, where you set up your appointment to become an illegal immigrant on the app because they turned off the app. Like, you're not the crying videos aren't going to work anymore. Like, we're done playing stupid games. That's like what this is a signal for. And that's what the J6 mass pardon is a signal for. It's a screw you guys. We do not care what you say. We don't care what you say it happened on January 6th. We don't care what you're telling us is happening at the border. We know what's going on. We know what we saw. Like, we're done playing stupid games with you and being bullied by you and scared of the stuff you say. Everything is the Kavanaugh hearing now.
Right.
And they can cry into the void.
As a matter of fact, you also tried to literally put that guy in jail for a long time. Take his businesses and put him in jail. And so there's nobody more corrupt than you people crying and you people enabling them in the press as well. There's nobody more corrupt than that. The Biden family should be in jail. Everybody involved in all these prosecutions. Fannie Willis should be behind bars. She's a dumb thug. Alvin Bragg, all of these people are corrupt a-holes. And they have whatever's coming to them. And so, like, whatever they conjured up, whatever they built, I agree with Trump. It's all false. You could have had a case against Trump with January 6th. You decided to use it as a weapon against him. You could have said their election of duty. That's why we're doing the impeachment. You didn't. You said you wanted it to be that he started an insurrection, and because you just couldn't leave good enough alone. You had to have more because the Democrats and the left in this country and the supposed media are absolutely corrupt, rotten, cynical, and toxic. And F them all. F them all.
I can't believe from the January 6th stuff, I mean, I guess I can believe it because people are terrible. It's like, with all these stories now of people being released, is how many of the people being released were turned in by family members.
Yeah.
It's really wild. And some of them then have, like, filed restraining orders saying it's, like, dangerous it's dangerous if you release my stepdad because he's going to be mad at me because I turned him in. Like,
it's really such a dishonorable time for our country. But Trump was questioned about this in the Oval Office.
All those you pardoned DJ Rodriguez. He drove a stun gun into the neck of a D.C. police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything. But I can say this. Murderers today are not even charged. You have murderers that aren't charged all over. You take a look at what's gone on in Philadelphia, take a look at what's gone on in L.A., where people murder people and they don't get charged.
Oh, by the way, who was it? Was it Van Jones on CNN? I think it was him on the panel with Scott Jennings last night. Went into this thing that was like, I'm sorry, but anyone who attacks a police officer is like, I'm very emotional about this because I have police officers in my family, and any violence against police officers just gets me absolutely like, where was that energy for George Floyd? Like, was there any of that during those riots or no? Like, did he see the full video of the George Floyd body camera footage and all of a sudden was like, well, I just have no tolerance for anyone who's ever violent to a police. No.
Yeah,
obviously not. Like, it's just such weird selective outrage about January 6th. And I think that's why, even though it wasn't what I thought he was going to do, I think that it certainly sends a message to just say we're pardoning them all.
Yes.
Like, screw you.
And had the left just been square with
Liz Warren did the thing again. I saw her on TV where she said, like, think of the police officers killed on January 6th. And I was like...
That's another reason why they have this coming.
What?
They have this coming. They totally set this up as a ruse. They just did. The handling of it. And, by the way, how did anybody get in the freaking Capitol building? Kidding me?
People have already served years in prison. And they've served them viciously. It's a disgusting prison. It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing. I also say this: you go to Portland, where they wrapped police officers, shot police officers. Nothing happened to anybody. You go to Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city, and people died. Portland, a lot of people died. Wait a minute. And you go also take a look at...
By the way, in all fairness, like the summer of George Floyd, he was in charge of the Justice Department. Mm-hmm. So, like, although I don't even know, maybe he told them to light a fire and round these people up, and maybe the next administration broomed it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, 2020 was not a good...
But I think, too, in general, like, I do think that Trump 45... compared to Trump 47 was like sweet summer child innocent Trump. Right? Like, he was still going along with stuff. He went along with Fauci a lot. Like, he still was very much like trying to work with the establishment in a big way.
Right.
Like,
even though they had an emergency footing. And when he did stuff that you would think was just logical, like fire Comey, it was the end of the world, the end of norms. Comey should be incarcerated right now.
But, like, he used to buy into that somewhat.
Or some people around him did.
Or some people around him did. Now he has made sure that he's not... And that's ultimately what I think this pardon is about. I think it's, like, this is new sheriff in town messaging.
Right. And I can do whatever I want, and you're just going to have to all deal with it.
Minneapolis, because I was there, and I watched it. And if I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city wouldn't even exist today. People were killed, and nobody went to jail. So these people have already served a long period of time, and I made a decision to give a pardon. Joe Biden gave a pardon yesterday to a lot of criminals. These are criminals that he gave a pardon to. And you should be asking that question. Why did he give a pardon to all of these people that committed crimes? Why did he give a pardon to the J6 Unselect Committee when they burned and destroyed all documents which showed that they did what was wrong, not me? Wait a minute. Why did they give a pardon to all of his relatives, his brother who made millions of dollars, to all these different people? He gave pardons. That's the question you should be.
Well, they would possibly
it's funny
because
we could go back and find the tape on this, but like when he pardoned Hunter, basically, if you recall, what I said is, this is not it. There's more coming. He's definitely going to pardon Jim Biden and probably more. The only question really is if he pardons himself or not. And like, then, yesterday morning, I was in the Fauci pardons came down with Fauci and the select committee people and all that stuff. And I was like, dang, I guess I was wrong. Like, he didn't pardon Jim Biden after all. Like,
Yeah.
It didn't happen the way I thought it was going to. Like, my prediction was wrong, because that was one that I, like, put a pin in it to come back to later. Like, definitely he's going to pardon his siblings, or at least Jim Biden. And I was like, wow, well, Alice got one wrong again. It's been known to happen. But then 11:50 a.m. and you reached over to me and you were like, guess what just happened? Pardon everybody.
Yeah, during the party,
Everybody.
yeah. Well, Trump is speaking.
Yeah, he wasn't even, I mean, obviously, the statement was timed to go out,
Yes.
but he was already at the ceremony. But can you imagine what a dirty, corrupt weasel? Like, how do you look at yourself if you're somebody who supported this man for decency and norms at this point?
Yeah.
How do you, maybe you were taken in 2020, but how do these, blue and on weirdo people who go out here and shill for Biden, how do you look at yourself and think decency and norms? I guess it just really has to be only the most cynical people at this point.
Yes.
Where they know it's a crock of bleep, but they're just doing it. They're just doing it for the money at this point, right? You have to know that you're completely making stuff up, right?
Well, totally. Let's go to Elon Musk. This is last night. Elon Musk did "My Heart Goes Out to You," "My Heart Goes Out to You" thing for people, and raised his hand a couple times because he's
he did. He put his hand on his heart and then he reached out to the crowd.
The typical weird, jerky Elon Musk way. Mm-hmm. The left now has decided that was a Heil Hitler salute, which totally makes sense. Totally makes sense that Elon Musk would think that would be a smart thing to do. Now I can show them that I'm actually a high-ranking SS officer.
Wait, but doesn't that show you where the left is?
Well, yeah.
That they think Trump and the people around him are openly doing Nazi salutes out in the open.
There are elections that come and go. Some elections are, important. Some are not. But this one. This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Is one of them.
My heart goes out to you.
So it's decidedly not a Heil Hitler thing. It's just not. The angle is wrong, among other things. It's just simply not. And it's less like a Heil Hitler thing than a lot of things other politicians do all the time.
It is funny because you know how I have a friend from high school who's she identifies as neurodiverse, I guess would be the new way that we call it now. She had ADD in school, basically. So she considers that autism now or whatever. Dear ADL and whatever allistics or neurotypicals I might have left here reading this, autistic people know what the F a Nazi salute is, and we also know exactly how wrong it is. Don't make excuses for it and infantilize a grown-ass man who runs a multi-billion-dollar business like he doesn't understand, because that's how we wind up with these effing incels being told it's not their fault when they do heinous shit. Awkwardness is not ignorance of right and wrong. Making the leap from being awkward, not making eye contact, to they must think that gesture is okay is unbelievably insulting, and it shows how little you think of our shared humanity. No love. A diagnosed autistic woman who is identified as a child who is in the 3rd percentile for social emotional development at 4 years old has removed Nazis from her life. Blah, blah, blah. On and on. So yeah. So basically, she feels it's insulting that.
Yes.
We think he's just making an awkward motion and not being a literal
She's finding a new
Nazi.
take to somehow find a new
She's newly
victimhood.
offended because people said Elon Musk's not a Nazi. He's just awkward and weird and autistic, which he is, by the way.
Well, the thing is also is that you'd have to, and I've seen friends of ours, a couple of people who've been on this podcast on Facebook say, I've known a lot of things, I've done a lot of things, I've been in a lot of places. That's a Hitler salute. Everybody know. If you don't see it, then you're in denial about yourself. The problem is two things. One, it's not a Hitler salute. The other thing is this. Is it ask yourselves if you think that it would make sense that Elon Musk would do a Hitler salute.
Well, right. That's the thing is it's people who are
It's just too good, though.
People who are into doing Hitler salutes in public generally will talk about their Nazi values in other places. And almost nobody goes around talking about his opinions on things more than Elon Musk.
Well, right.
So,
and
he
also,
doesn't have Nazi opinions.
No, he's
Then they also-
he's an Israel guy, among other things, which
Right.
Hitler would not be. He's also he does global business around the world, where the Nazi brand is not very positive.
Really great. No.
It's like it's just such a crazy. You've got a small and or hurting, emotionally desperate brain if you think that's a Nazi salute.
But Rachel Maddow was all in on it too.
And so is
on
Jim
the-
Acosta with who's this guy? Some Democratic guy, California Rep Robert Garcia.
After this moment, when viral Congressman, the Anti-Defamation League released a statement, we can show this, saying in part, it seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute. Of course, if you go on social media, there are lots of other people with lots of other opinions and say this looks very much like a Nazi salute, no matter how they're trying to clean it up. What was your reaction to that?
That was a Nazi salute, and he didn't just do it one time. He did it twice for emphasis. And if you talk to anyone, that's historians, folks who actually study the Nazis and study this actual kind of disgusting display, have been very clear that what that was. And he should not just apologize, he should be condemned for those kinds of actions. So gross.
So that's it. So if this guy's saying that, then there's no such thing as anybody doing the Nazi salute. If you're going to go with this, then you're just an unserious person. That if that's your definition of a Nazi salute, which is not a Nazi salute, then you just don't believe in Nazi salutes, or you just take it. You just think that there's so much utility in making this a thing that you do it. But it is a small dick thing to do. It really is. This is Senator Chris
There's
Murphy
actually,
speaking
by the
of
way,
Chris Murphy of Connecticut. Going after Elaine Stefanik about this.
What do you think of Elon Musk, perhaps the president's most visible advisor, doing 2 Heil Hitler salutes last night at the president's televised rally?
No, Elon Musk did not do those salutes. I was not at the rally, but I can tell you I've been at many rallies with Elon Musk, who loves to cheer when President Trump says we need to send, our U.S. space program to Mars. Elon Musk is a visionary. I'm looking forward to his work in DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and look forward to looking how we can be more efficient and effective. But
now I want you to listen to what happens here. Mm-hmm. How low rent, cheap. The people of Connecticut are being represented when this guy's drivel is this gruel thin. And this is amazing because all he does, it's so bottom feedy that, and I think that the station has changed on this stuff. It's so bottom feedy that all he does is say, what do you think of him doing the Nazi salute? And then he has his staffers go on Twitter and find replies to the videos of him doing the suit.
That is simply not the case. And to say so is the American people are smart. They see through it. They support Elon Musk. We are proud to be the country of such successful entrepreneurs. That is one of our greatest strengths as Americans.
Let me share with you what a few Americans have said about it.
Few Americans. Okay, so he's going into Twitter.
Evan Kilgore, a right-wing political commentator, wrote on X, "Holy crap, did Elon Musk just Heil Hitler at the Trump inauguration rally? This is incredible. We are so back." Andrew Torba, who's the founder...
Well, if Evan Kilgore and Andrew Torba are excited, then...
founder of the right-wing Christian nationalist social platform Gab, said incredible things are happening as he amplified the visual. The Proud Boys chapter in Ohio posted the clip on its Telegram channel with the text Heil Trump. A chapter of the white nationalist group.
Wow, one of the Proud Boys outfits did it. All these freaks from the fringe 4chan are coming out saying, wow, thanks, Elon, that's great. This is what this guy's doing.
Right.
This is for,
It's like when do you remember when the Canadian trucker stuff was happening?
Yes.
And they all tried to say that honk honk was secret code for HH.
Yes,
which
yes.
stands for Heil Hitler.
Oh.
White
it's
Lives Matter posted it on
White Lives
Telegram.
Matter posted it.
Thanks for hearing us, Elon. The white flame will rise again. I could keep going.
You could keep going. I know you could. Because you're not doing anything else because you're a fucking hack with zero skill.
This is like what they did with Trump initially, too, way back in 2015 and 2016, right? Is they were like, you guys, Trump's a racist Nazi. Like you. What do you think about that? And they're like, they go find these white nationalists. Like never was Richard Spencer platformed so much as during the 2016 election cycle. And asked how he felt about Trump because Trump was a big Nazi like him. Or what, I don't even know what he defines himself as, but whatever. And they're like, what do you think about this fact that he's a white supremacist like you? And he's like, I think it's great that Trump's a white supremacist. And then they run with that as content. But
then they say to Trump, of course, will you what do they say to him? What's the word? Distance yourself, but don't use distance. There's a word.
Disavow?
Disavow, yes. We disavow. And so now Trump is made to answer questions about people he's never heard of.
Like random people on Twitter who claim to be white supremacists who say they love Trump. Like, do you disavow that? Like, I don't know. Nobody makes Biden disavow every weirdo on Twitter who claims to like him. Like, it's ridiculous.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's pathetic, whatever. He didn't, but that's fine. You've got some people in the media. If CNN wants to do this on their way out while they're about to sell the building and they're going to be out of business, then good. Be that person. Now, the other thing that's in the news...
Taylor Lorenz posted, too, speaking of the legacy media trying to be relevant by being super online, she posted on Blue Sky because she went to the Make America Healthy Again inauguration ball, and she said she was the only person there in a mask. So that's good. Blue Sky's going well, obviously, so that's good. Have they given up on claiming that that's going to be the great new platform yet where all the good people are?
No.
Because I assume they're down to like 0 daily active users now at this point.
Sorry.
Are they down to like nothing? I know I don't hear about it as much anymore. I assume they're dead now.
I assume they're dead, yes. Yes. The other thing is the bishop, I don't know what her name is, some bishop.
She's like the Episcopalian bishop or
today
something.
in the National Cathedral decided to give a personal lecture to Trump and his crew.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican.
And what you've seen is there's a bunch of reaction shots, including a great one of J.D. Vance going like, you and Trump and the kids. Like, it was just to a person. They were all like, are you bleeping kidding me with this? I'll start from a little bit earlier.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
You hear this, right? Mm-hmm. Some who are scared now. Some who fear for their life. What are you guys doing sitting around making yourself fearing for your life and scared all the time? It's like this is the second time around. I had to console co-workers 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Last time this happened, we're scared. Why are you scared? Okay? But like this totally, like what, stop scaring each other about climate change. Stop scaring each other into being trans. Stop telling you that if you're trans, you could die, be murdered easily. At the rates, like, what is this thing? People are scared. You don't understand. They're scared. Stop being scared. You're not scared. You're effing nuts.
Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants.
The Browns are scared for their lives.
Who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens.
I think a lot of those people are citizens and voted for Trump,
right?
By the way.
There's the same broad a little bit while ago. Everybody found all sorts of stuff about her.
Why did you want to come out here and send
their message? It is a message of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for systemic justice for all brown and black people who are.
And I love these like fake bishops. She's got like a purple tank top, priest thing with a like cool contemporary collar. Jesus.
Under the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people, mostly half my age or younger, they're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the president.
They're so angry.
They're angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leaders.
God, there is no occupation that is exempt from having a psycho in it. It's true, totally true, especially with Trump.
Yeah, I mean, this is a problem in a lot of the newer and more liberal churches is that, and, you know, I have friends that have gone to some of these denominations their entire lives, like, you know, congregational churches. I think this one's an Episcopalian church, but like all these denominations, there's 1,000 of these churches around here, all different Protestant groups. And like, because there's a huge problem with declining church attendance overall, a lot of these churches and their leaders have fallen for this like false god and drug of social justice movements because they think it's going to energize their church and bring in young people. And it just does not. It just doesn't. Those people aren't going to your church, even if you have a rainbow flag and a Black Lives Matter sign. Yeah. They're not spending their Sunday in your church pews. And the only thing you do is scare off the people that have given their time, talent, and treasure to your church their entire lives. Like, I know so many older people who've been heartbroken by this, who have spent their whole lives like pouring out their heart into a church and its charity missions and the congregation and being there and doing stuff and organizing coffee hours and giving money every week and like only to see the church like throw away everything so they can wave rainbow flags and stuff and not bring in anybody new, but just, you know, totally destroy their congregation that's already dwindling down to nothing.
Yeah, so why do you think church is attracting these kind of...
Well, for one thing, like a lot... So it's interesting, like I've known a few people, not a lot, but I've like met a couple people who have gone to some of these like religious studies, like divinity schools, like Harvard Divinity School and stuff. And like many of them now are super woke because they're part of the higher education mind virus that's happening in higher education. And so a lot of people go into and get those degrees in religious studies and stuff for like social justice-y type reasons instead of, you know, because they're trying to, unless they're going to a specifically religious school like that. But like a lot of the people around here and like who are going to these liberal denominations are getting degrees like that from very, very liberal institutions of higher education. But I think that people consider it like almost a charity project, a lot of them. And I don't want to impugn everybody because I'm sure some of these people are also seriously trying to have a deep spiritual relationship with the divine. Like, I mean, I assume some of them are, but I do think a lot of them view it as like a social justice charity project. And they show up at these churches and they think like, oh, this church is dying. Nobody comes anymore. I know what we'll do. We'll attract a bunch of young people by doing the issues they care about. So we're going to do... You know, we're going to put gay flags outside and like, because they're still stuck in a mindset too. Like there's still a very 80s and 90s view that like people are giving up on religion and moving away from religion because it's like uncool and anti-gay and it's
judgy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's, who was it? Tipper Gore who did the warning labels on stuff like, and it's, you know, they have the view of religion that like Bill Maher has, right? Right.
That it's the root of all evil, essentially.
It's this like kind of new atheist, intellectual, I'm too smart for all that nonsense kind of view about religion. And I think that people, a lot of people are still stuck in this mindset that the reason why religious attendance is dwindling is because of that mindset and not because they as a religion are not offering people anything of value to their lives. Like not because of, you know, not because of like the intellectual premises of the religion per se, but because of what the church as a place and as a community offers to people. Like religion should be something that you practice. It's something that you do, not something like, it's not a checklist of things you believe in. If that makes sense, right? So like people go to church because they belong to a church.
Right.
And there's people there who expect you to be there on Sunday and be doing the choir, organizing the children's religious group or whatever. And people don't have that community built around church anymore. They have it in other places, whether it's their kids' sports or other things. I mean, to a large degree, people are skipping out of community things altogether. I read this crazy statistic that the amount of people who report that they go to dinner parties at least once a week is down over 90% since the middle of the 20th century.
Wow.
But it makes sense. How often, do you go to dinner at somebody else's house weekly?
No.
I mean, I never go to dinner at somebody else's house, but people do so little social stuff. Restaurants see a larger and larger percentage of their business come out of takeout and delivery. And not people don't do things out with other people nearly as much. That's why all these community clubs and VFWs and Knights of Columbus are having trouble maintaining membership too. It's really impossible to get people to do things in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because you just look at the event yesterday and know how special in what a bonding experience these things can be.
Being in person with people
by the way,
is so important.
I am thrilled, but that, and I hope I said hi to everybody. I hope we had. I mean, there was a good number of people there. I hope we had time to say hi. And obviously, I think I talked to everybody. And it was great to meet you. It was very fun. Very fun. What's Carrie's? Carrie from Winchester, her husband's? Chris. Okay, sorry. He goes on as Carrie's husband a lot of times. Yeah. Very funny guy. There were so many fun people there. There was a hardcore crew of Trump dudes who were young guys in their 20s right in the middle of the room, which I thought was great. There were people of all ages there, which I really thought was great. But yeah, there's something I mean, there is a reason why people convene and congregate. There are several reasons, but there is a wisdom and a security in like-minded people getting together and talking, communicating, and just interacting and celebrating, or whatever you do. So how did I get here? But anyway,
in-person stuff is good for you.
In-person stuff is good. Absolutely.
I think it's related to the mental health crisis.
Oh, totally agree.
That people are so much more isolated than they ever have been.
Totally agree. Can I have some credit for something I did yesterday, by the way? Getting those balloons. Come on.
Wow, yeah. That was great. Yeah, there was a baby shower, taking down some balloons in the hall. And Tom mediated and they let the kids have the balloons.
Yes.
Which is a win for them too, actually, because taking down and getting rid of balloons is really annoying, actually.
Yeah.
So.
And by the way, thanks to everybody again, they all cleaned up and everybody pitched in and they were just fantastic.
Everybody was awesome.
All right, Alice, ready for the chat?
I'm ready for the chat.
Hey, it's Dr. Cheswick at a crappy conference.
Hey, Dr. Cheswick.
Hope you guys are having fun or had fun. It's Christmas Day.
I know.
It's a great day in America, to quote Craig Ferguson. I love Kendall. I wish, you know what? I would marry her tomorrow.
Kendall Jenner?
I don't know what Kendall we're referring.
Oh, no. Kendall is a girl we played. That was that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear you, man. Yes.
The China girl?
Yes. Speaking of that, we now are a fan of Lauren Sanchez, too.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that controversy?
Everyone had...
Megyn Kelly called her, said, you don't go around showing your... Megyn Kelly said the T word, T-I-T-S, and said, you don't dress like that. Why not? It's a Trump inauguration. First of all,
Did you see the videos of Mark Zuckerberg checking out?
Oh, yeah. He had no chance. We had no chance. There's also another video of RFK, and he, plays it cool. Obviously, he's
seen it.
Probably, actually. But yes, absolutely. But I'm all for it. Cleavage is great. There's nothing, there's no man-made art that is better than cleavage. If you've got
I got no problem with her dressing like that.
No, absolutely. There's no problem whatsoever.
If John Fetterman's allowed to dress like he does, then
you leave my guy alone, Alice.
That's not. I mean, but that's not doing anybody any aesthetic favors to have John Fetterman walking around like that.
It is funny.
At least, like, she looks nice, so.
Yeah, no, Toast made a good point that I essentially am wearing the Fetterman collection. That is me all winter. By the way, if you're trying to get me to go to church this Sunday, Alice, I can't wear shorts. I have to wear shorts. And I can't wear shorts in church. But for the bash, maybe I can come in shorts.
Yeah, maybe you can meet us downstairs after the service.
Meet you after.
In your shorts.
I would. If she could cook and clean and just be herself, I wouldn't care what anybody said. I really wouldn't, to be quite honest. I wanted to ask you guys, did you see that Mike Johnson interview where he talked about meeting Biden for the first time after he was made speaker?
Yeah.
And he said that it took them, like, I forget, 9 weeks for him to meet him. The guy's third in line to the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finally met him, he asked him why he paused all LNG exports. And Biden claimed he didn't do that. You should watch the clip.
I did.
Also, thank you, Alice, for getting angry about Biden trying to pass the Equal Rights Amendment. I guess it's easy to pass amendments. That's terrific. I'm going to pass an amendment this afternoon. How about that? I'll just make one up. It'll be a new amendment to the Constitution, and I passed it.
There we go.
124.
Yeah, Cheswick, next time we have an event, and we'll, the next event we do will probably be a show, to be honest, right?
I guess so.
Anyway, we'll think about that a little bit later, but we'd love to have you there, obviously. Harmon Alice, is this Be a Man Guy? Or is this about Be a Man Guy?
Hey, thanks for having me today, buddy. Best day of my life this week. Be a man.
Thank you, Harmon. I appreciate
great.
that. He was great. Just a great guy. Just a great guy. He's the most famous but least dickish dude I've ever met. And just a great down-to-earth guy they've got a great operation, him and his brother and the whole crew over there going. And he's just a nice guy to come to the
he's fantastic.
event. And yeah, usually it costs a little coin to get Be a Man Guy to hang out with you.
Hey guys, Paul in the car.
Hey Paul.
Awesome time yesterday. Thanks.
Thank you
to everyone who helped make that come together. Phil, Julie, Tommy. I'm sure, Tom and Alice, you guys were integral too. But thanks everybody. That was great.
We were not integral. We fully admit to not being an integral part of that process.
Yes. All I did, yes. My responsibility was to make sure that we could stream a bunch of video from Burn Barrel video.
And that part didn't work.
My part didn't work.
Despite Tom, I know you were sweating it out there with the technical issues you were having.
Yeah.
And all 15 of us were standing there waiting for the bar to open. It had nothing to do but watch you struggle.
There you go.
I don't mean it in a bad way.
No, it's actually, Paul, that is perfect.
That's quintessential.
Correct.
Burn Barrel podcast experience is watching Tom struggle with technology. So.
Everything was great. Everything went off without a hitch.
Thanks, Paul.
And everything worked. And it was great to be in a room with like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
We talk all the time via the chat or on the chat and listen to each other. But I just, for whatever reason, over the last few days, can't get away from the liberal junk on any of my social media feeds.
Wow.
I follow none of them. I pay attention to it at a hatred. But for whatever reason, my For You page is just every other post is, people yelling at Elon for his not Hitler salute.
Totally.
It's like, God, can we just stop? These people are crazy. They're out of their mind.
It tells you something, though, that's your X For You page that's, done by Elon.
Yeah, it's probably engagement bait, I'm assuming.
I guess so.
But it's funny because, the place you have to be in to think that international business people are doing Heil Hitler salutes on the regular.
There's almost no people who are in, working in normal human
who run Fortune 500 companies
who are doing a lot of Hitler stuff.
It was still a great day. Trump at his best, probably since he's been in quote unquote politics, all the way through his executive signing order signing in the Q&A session. I mean, that was awesome. That was great.
Agree.
We're no longer part of the WHO. Only 2 genders. I mean, Jesus, I can't believe we need an order for that. But
yeah, totally, Paul. I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also fun today. He was totally...
Well, and just being there, can you imagine Biden being there, signing those orders, talking about each one to the press of all of these, like, dozens and dozens of orders, one right after the other, talking to them, answering details. Oh, yeah, here's why we're doing this one. Oh, yeah, this one takes us out of the WHO, blah, blah, blah. This is a good one. Like, no way. I mean, it's a joke to think Biden could ever do anything. Like,
Did you see the Trump letter, the Peter Doocy thing?
I don't know.
Video?
No.
Peter Doocy asks, and Doocy was still, I assume he's going to get a promotion and won't be covering him, but Doocy was, asked him, hey, did Biden leave you a letter? You know, he usually does in the Resolute desk. They usually leave each other a letter. Hello?
Sorry.
Okay. Do you remember how usually they leave each other a letter?
Yeah.
In the Resolute desk? Well, Doocy asked Trump if Biden had done that. It's freaking fantastic.
President Trump, did President Biden leave you a letter?
He may have. Wait. Don't they leave it in the desk?
He scoots back and opens the drawer.
I don't know. Oh.
What's in there?
Thank you, Peter. It could have been years before we found it. Wow. Thank you.
What does it say on the outside?
Maybe we should all read it together.
Let's read it.
Well, maybe I'll read it first and then make that determination.
That sounds great.
Peter, thank you very much. I may not have seen this for months.
Happy to help with the passing of the torch.
I did. I left him one in the desk just like this.
What are you talking about with him?
Unification of our country. You know, I didn't know that he gave a pardon to his family because he did it during my speech.
He didn't tell you in the limo?
No, he didn't tell me. No. He did it. They released it during my speech. During my speech. So all I could do was say, excuse me, I'd like to come back and speak some more. So, no, we were surprised by that.
He's signing all this stuff while he's doing this. It was a really funny moment today. So yeah, the whole thing is funny. It's like he's just riffing, having fun.
He's so on.
Oh, yeah.
It's an exciting time.
Absolutely. Let's get back to Paul.
The federal employees having to go back to work. Awesome stuff.
Yes.
So thanks again, everybody. Sorry I'm long, but just wanted to, share just my gratitude. It was great to meet people and put faces with the names. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Paul. 143. But that is well worth it. I think we can all agree.
Splash in the chat says Biden probably accidentally left him a shopping list or something. Tommy, New Hampshire says a crayon picture. Well, it was a good day yesterday. It was a good night last night. We're going to have a good 4 years. I'm super excited. We'll have to do another in-person thing soon coming up. We'll figure something out. Burnbarrelpodcast.com, patreon.com/burnbarrel.
C'est la vie.